Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back once again to the ROS Media channel. Today, we are calling all landlords. And the subject matter today is HMRC about to liquidate your entire life's work? We want to talk about a really serious problem that has come to light. And if you're a landlord, or you know landlords, or you're in a group somewhere on social media with landlords, this is definitely for you. Ian, welcome back to the platform. I want to first of all just kind of address in brief the crisis that we're talking about here. You know, is HMRC really clamping down this much on landlords? You know, I mean, we've got talk about reopening tax returns from 6 years ago, and professional landlords now facing six-figure bills for tax years they thought were closed. I mean, what exactly is this crisis we're talking about?
Well, it's a trap, and it's a trap that a lot of people were completely unaware of. You know, they actually trusted the system to operate continuously with an opportunity of investing in property, letting it out, doing a good job for people who wanted to rent, and gradually building portfolios up where there was an arbitrage between the rental revenue coming in and the cost of the mortgages going out, and any maintenance and upkeep fees. And it was a nice business model. If you could find the right properties, get the right financing, get some resources around you for maintenance and for rent collection and all that kind of stuff, then you know it was a model that many people were attracted to. And it was very heavily promoted as well by property groups, by mortgage providers, by you know various investment programs were promoting the buy-to-let phenomena, I call it. You know, and I looked at it in great detail in about 2005 because at the time I was managing investment funds, and I thought this is an interesting sector. If you can buy property off plan, if you can put it into a portfolio, if you could then let out 1-2 bedroom apartments, that's what I was looking at. And if you could set all the mortgage interest costs off against the revenues coming in, the rental revenue coming in, you know, you could probably cash flow that out, build it out substantial, and then you could offer it out as an investment where people could buy shares in your investment fund that's, you know, 100% investing in buy-to-let. And the reason I didn't do it was because too many landlords were getting involved in it, and I could see there was going to be a bubble, a property bubble, and then I could see that there was probably going to be some tax changes at some stage, because I've never trusted HMRC and the government to keep the playing field level. And what they've done is exactly what I didn't know exactly what their plan was. I just didn't trust it. It just looked like it was a trap to me. It was too attractive. It was a little bit too easy to get it off the ground. Mortgage providers were throwing mortgages at landlords like you couldn't believe. And that to me is like, if it's too easy, if anyone can do it and it's too easy, it's probably a trap. And I think I've been proven right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it talks about this Section 24. I mean, it effectively taxing now gross income rather than net profit. I mean, is the traditional rental model that you were speaking about now this financially toxic liability that potentially would lead towards insolvency then?
You know, in the worst case scenario, landlords are going to have to sell their property portfolios. They'll almost certainly have huge capital gains tax liabilities for selling them, because most property's gone up in value since they bought it. That's going to cause a huge personal tax liability. Some landlords that are fortunate enough to have a differential between the value of the property and the mortgage balances probably can weather the storm, sell all the properties, and then liquidate and get away with paying the taxes and still having something left over. But a lot of other landlords won't be able to do that, because when they sell or when they liquidate the properties, it's going to cause a problem in the property market, and the values of properties are going to come down, and then you're going to have difficulty if you're a landlord actually selling the properties, because who wants to buy property in a falling market? So I can see another track there where that property values are declining. Landlords want to offload their properties. They can't find the buyers at the right price. They've got to keep the tenants in the properties. Landlord rents are going to reduce because there's another problem with the rental market in that the tenants have been given all sorts of extraordinary rights that were never there before. And if the tenants don't want to pay, there's all manner of mechanisms in place now for them to delay, defer, and the landlords are not going to be able to collect the rent. So you've got property values coming down, you've got rental income under threat, you've got the problem that you can't set the interest on the mortgages against the income that's coming in or against the revenues coming in. So you're, on every single level, landlords are under attack, and it's a very serious problem. And I think a lot of landlords will ultimately probably end up in bankruptcy, unfortunately.
It is a huge crisis. So kind of moving forwards, this sham revelation that you speak about as well, this incorporation trap. I mean, a lot of landlords have followed, as you mentioned, professional advice. They've gone to companies like all promoters like Property 118. There's other companies out there that have done the same. They've moved their properties into companies. Why is HMRC now sort of branding these, they call them substantial incorporation structures, don't they, these SISs? Why are they labeling them as shams then?
Well, I mean, it's the problem is that most landlords purchase the properties in their own citizen name. So, the citizen got a mortgage, bought a property, then got another mortgage and another one, and used the equity in the previous properties as a way of leveraging up so that they got more and more property. And all of these individual mortgages were taken out in the name of the citizen, the person. And then what happened was HMRC changed the tax legislation so that you couldn't then couldn't offset the mortgage interest against the revenues coming in from your property portfolio. So what happened was, tax barristers dreamed up this scheme where you could create a company, you could move all the income from your portfolio into the company, so all your rents were coming into the company, and then you could offset the interest, or they said you could offset the interest that was personal interest. So the interest being to the citizen, the person, the actual name on the mortgage contract, against the company's revenue, and that was the solution that many landlords, thousands of landlords bought that solution, paid a lot of money for it, structured it, and it has worked for them, or it appears to have worked for them for a few years, but it's not going to work anymore.
Okay, so without giving too much away, let's talk a little bit about the exit ramp to this as well. You mentioned there's a way to wipe out every mortgage. So again, without giving away the content for the webinar this Saturday, how does the landlord redress protocol that you're going to talk about, how does that allow owners to reclaim signature credit that they maybe unknowingly created when they signed for the loan documents in the first place?
Well, most landlords are unaware that their signature created the mortgage, created the credit. Most landlords, are completely unaware of that. They think that the bank's got some money to lend them, and that's what happened. Well, of course, everybody at Republic of Old Souls who's been paying attention to our webinars will know that the banks don't actually have money to lend. They create the credit from the signature of the borrower. So if the credit is being created by the landlord, and there's a way of getting that back, then you can discharge the mortgages. So the biggest problem that the landlords have got is the mortgages. So if you can eliminate the mortgages, and then you can redefine where you take the revenue into. If you can restructure that, get rid of the debt, restructure where the revenue comes in from the tenants, now it's, you've solved the problem, because, and then you can solve the tax aspect as well. So what I'm going to be presenting on Saturday is how to eliminate the mortgages with a proven method to do it, how to reframe where the revenues come in so that you can eliminate the tax problem. And then it doesn't matter what the HMRC do going forward. You've basically taken your property portfolio out of the problem area and put it into a safe haven where there's no debt. And you've also solved the tax problem. And then there's another, the icing on the cake, which is how you can use the revenue coming in to your new structure, which I'll be talking all about on Saturday, and how you can use that to recycle it so you can spend and recoup it within the signature credit model. So it's a complete transformational plan, which I'm going to break down step by step. But it starts with the realization that the mortgages were created by the landlord. The signature created the mortgages. And if you've got to start there, because if you don't get that under your belt, if you don't really get that foundational knowledge, nothing else that I'm going to present on Saturday is going to make much sense.
No, but certainly a very powerful structure, I think, that you're going to be revealing on Saturday, which is, for landlords that are listening, something that they really want to be paying attention to. So I want to talk about the mission that we have and the rewards as well. We're talking here about a decentralized group of 5,000 truth seekers for each and every webinar that we present. Yeah. Why do you feel that collective volume is important?
Well, information is so readily available now. I mean, we're bombarded from everywhere with information. There's, everyone who's got a phone or a computer is being bombarded by social media messages. And, a lot of us sort of tune out from it, but I don't pay much attention. There's so many things coming in all the time that what I pay attention to is if somebody says to me, hey, this is really worth looking into. Have a look at this, or if somebody were to, refer me to something which they say is worth my time looking into. And what I want is our advocate network to spread the word, to get the webinar invitation out to people that they trust, or people that trust them, I should say. So it's all about networking, using the advocates' existing networks, trusted people. This is an interesting webinar. Tune into it and try and make the live webinar on the Saturday morning at 10 a.m. UK time. But if you can't make the live webinar, at least play it. Play it after the event, or even just watch the summary of the live webinar, because there'll be a summary of it, or come to our Q&A that we'll do after the webinar has been presented. But what I really want is I want people to come to the live webinar. There's an energy to a live webinar, and I want to capture that and get as many people on there as possible. But instead of just advertising it on social media where it gets lost in the crowd, I want it to be, networks. I want networks of advocates to promote it to people that trust them.
Okay. So for people that are listening to this little video here that we're doing right now, how does the webinar reward point system work? How does that turn their social media presence, their sort of groups that you've mentioned, their networks, into this credit for every attendee that stays for the live?
Yeah, so the Great Escape protocols, in order to enroll in them, there is a donation required for each of the protocols. And many people are looking at how can they reduce the enrollment donation. Well, this is the way to do it. If you bring people into the webinars by using the webinar links, all you've got to do is send the webinar link out through your social media, send it to people send it however you want to send it to people. If you're in a WhatsApp group, if you're in some kind of group, if you want to send an email out, if you want to put it up on social media, that and put it out through your social media channels, just get people to come. It's very easy for them to register for it, attend it. If they stay for more than 70% of the webinar, you get £10 off the cost of any of the protocols that you want to enroll in going forward. So whatever the donation amount is for each protocol. There's a suite of protocols that we're offering. And it's not just the Great Escape protocols. We've got all the freedom plan protocols that will be coming up in the future, you know, the energy and the water and the food and all the other protocols that we'll have. So if you think that there's like 10 to 15 protocols that you might want to enroll in to get everything under your belt with our freedom plan and the Great Escape, you know, the Great Escape protocols themselves, then there's an amount of donation there which may be beyond some of the people that want to join in with this. Well, why not reduce that donation amount for all of the different protocols by referring people into the webinars and getting a reward that you can offset against the enrollment and donation, you know, the amount of the donations that you need to make.
Yeah. It doesn't sound a lot, £10, but you think about that compounding over multiple webinars. You invite 10 people, 10 new people to each webinar, do that 10 times, you know, and you're really starting to get some credit here towards one of the protocols from a donation point of view, aren't you? So it will definitely compound, I think. Okay.
Some people have got very large social media followers, you know, they've you know, hundreds of thousands. Some people have got millions of people that follow them on social media. So to try and get 100, 1,000 of those to come to a webinar shouldn't really be that difficult for some. I mean, others it might be very difficult, but you know, as they say at Tesco's, every little counts. Yeah, every little bit helps, doesn't it? So
it does. So in terms of final call to action, I want to talk about this because this is important. Okay, I've got my thoughts on this. And then I'd love to leave you with final thoughts as we always do on these. But let's be fair, you know, from what I've read, from what you've discussed, that the traditional landlord model is dead, isn't it? You know, you can either go down with the ship or you can take an exit ramp towards freedom on this. HMRC is already using these discovery assessments to liquidate people's life's worth of portfolios as professional landlords. So if you're that person, if you're staring down that barrel right now and you're effectively facing insolvency because of these failed incorporation schemes, this Section 24, your window for action's closing, isn't it? Let's be fair. So Saturday's webinar, 4th of April, 10 a.m. UK time, is definitely applicable to these people.
I think that in life, you know, the problems have come along and you've only got three options. You either ignore them and hope they go away. This one isn't going away. They're not going to. HMRC aren't going to do a U-turn on this. They've made that very clear. This has been baked in the cake for a long time. You can try and solve it by selling all your property, but a lot of property is going to come on the market, and it's going to be more and more difficult to sell the properties, in my opinion. Or you can look for what I say is the most elegant solution available, which is what I'm going to be presenting on Saturday. And you actually turn the problem into a solution and actually get a benefit from it. So you actually turn it into something very positive. And that's what I'm going to be presenting this Saturday.
Amazing. So if you're watching this video with Ian and I right now, Saturday, you're going to learn how to discharge every mortgage without going into too much detail, shield 100% of your rental income as well, and move those assets into a fortress where they are protected. So our mission to scale to 5,000 people per webinar is a worthy one, because this is something that's affecting a lot of people. If you want to help and get the word out through your networks, through your social media, then use your unique link. Every advocate has one. They have a unique link. It's tracked back to you for the webinar registrations. It's in your dashboard for every person that joins us live on Saturday. If they stay for 70% of the webinar, you'll get £10 in reward points. That'll go into like a digital wallet that's assigned to you. That will offset the cost of your own Great Escape protocols from a donation perspective. I can't think of a better way to incentivize people, but also the content itself if you are a landlord, should incentivize you to come to the webinar on Saturday. Don't wait for the next discovery assessment to land on your doormat. Register for the webinar. It's this coming Saturday, 4th of April, 10 a.m. We're going to show you not how to avoid this, but how to really reclaim your authority. And that's the goal. Any final words before we wrap this up, Ian?
Well, there's going to be more problems coming along. It's all part of a control agenda that's been, it's been unfolding gradually. And the tax trap, the landlord trap, is just one of the traps that's coming along. And I think it's a big one, because the British mindset is that the property investment has always been really important to the British. And they're dismantling it. And I predicted it many years ago. Most people told me, you're crazy, Ian. Property is the thing to invest in, and everybody should be doing it. And I said, well, if everyone's doing it, I'm not going to be doing it.
So guys, Saturday, 4th of April, 10 a.m. UK time, the Landlord Redress Protocol. We're going to show you exactly what it is, how you can benefit from it. We'd love to see you there. So Ian, thank you once again for joining us today. And as always, everyone else that's watching, have a great day. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye now.